Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for looking in. This is part 3 of the Fokker DVII rebuild. In the last video I think we were just finishing the structure prior to starting the covering. In this video we're going to cover it, and this is what it's going to look like. So stick around, see how I get to this, and let's get on with it. Cheers. You find me sticking on a little bit of bolster on the back of all the struts to make them look a little bit more strutty. All it is 1/16 hardish balsa, and I'm just tacking it at the top with a bit of CA and then running it down the stick to the bottom, and a little bit of activator just to set it off. But it's going on pretty well. I'm just cutting it, just working my way through the struts now. So, and as soon as that's done, I can take the undercarriage off and think about finishing it. Talking of finishes, on this model I'm going to have a lovely antique finish. You're going to love it. I'm going to love it. So I've done that side and I've got this side still to do. You can see the difference. I mean, that's just horrible wire, and this is lovely struts. Okay guys, there's the struts finished. Didn't take long, cutting each one at a time, and quite happy with those. So we can now move on. So when we're covering with Doculum, or anything actually, we always start on the bottom. Now I only have to cover the open framework, and this framework is as good as it's ever going to get. So time to cover it. I have put in a new scalpel blade, which is pretty essential. I'm a bit of a bodger, I'm afraid. No, you're not a bodger. Yes, I am. This plane, I think, what was it Gina called it? Gina Purcell Aviation called it debodging. Debodging. Which I am. I'm debodging. I like that expression. So I'll set it to about 120, see how we get on. If you've never used this before, it's a doddle to use, and it actually goes clear when it gets hot, which is quite nice. The only thing it doesn't do too well is shrink as much as film, although I did read someone say that if you heat it very hot it will shrink quite a lot, so I'm not sure. And unlike the wing, where if you shrink one surface before the other, it's likely to warp, it doesn't apply so much to the fuselage because it's such a strong structure, it isn't going to warp. So I'm just going to trim it across there. When I tissue it, it'll I think I might take it around the edges actually. When I tissue it, it'll cover up any slight ledge. I'll jump ahead a bit, guys. There's nothing to be gained from watching me do this. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Didn't take a minute. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pump the heat up a bit, and I'm going to stretch that out and be done. And this back bit here is going to be tissue, so that will be covered. So let's just heat it up. See, it goes clear when you heat it. Look at that. That's satisfying. As you take the iron away, it keeps shrinking, so don't worry if it's not immediately shrunk, because it will keep going. It helps to have a window in front of you as well, and then you can see any wrinkles quite easily. There we are. going to be tissued over in the relevant colours. Take that back down a little bit. I'm going to continue doing the sides, guys, and then I'll be right back to you. Right, so we go at tightening it out. Let's move it gently across. In no hurry. Got a couple of wrinkles at the top here. We'll see if they're going to come out or not. Yes, it's just about come out. A little tiny one there, so we'll go at that. That came out. All right. So that's the underneath and one side done. All of a sudden, she's looking really good. So I'll do the other side, guys, and then we'll come back and have a look. So there we are. That's the fuselage covered. Didn't take long, did it? And what I plan to do now is to tissue it, and I just spotted a wrinkle, so I'll turn that on again. Tissue it, and the tissue should form the colour with a bit of luck. So you'll have to wait. You have to wait to see what that's going to look like. Now I might cover the. I've got a pile of bits here, so I've got the tailplane elevator. I might do that one next, seeing as I've got a limited work area. Or I could do the upper wing, lower wing. That's the upper wing. Now the top wing. Oops, what's happening? Top wing is a lot flatter. I've sprayed it and weighed it down, so now I can go ahead and cover it with doculum. However, I do need to fit the servo extension leads in the wing before I go flying ahead with that. So they've got to come out here, pass through the ribs to the servo bay. Incidentally, oh yeah, I covered the ailerons first and to try and sort of learn the technique, and they're not brilliant, but they will tissue over. They'll look okay, trust me. But I've tissued, I beg your pardon, I've doculumed the leading edge because I want to try and hinge it with tape. I don't want to hinge these with any sort of hinges because of the angle of the ailerons. So I'm going to hinge them with tape. So that's the next step. I'll start with the bottom first and work my way up. So you've all seen me doculuming before, so I'm not going to video that. So let's crack on with it. I'll come back to you when it's looking like a wing. Look at that. I've got some white tissue, I've got some gorgeous red, and this is the colour scheme for the Fokker. I think you'll agree it's a little bit smarter than that glossy solar film green, dark green. I'm going to do it much in the same colour scheme as I did the Fokker triplane, and that is red at the front, white at the back. But unlike the Fokker triplane, I'm not going to paint it, it's going to be tissue finished. I've covered the bottom of the wing. I've done it in 3 sections because I had to go around the bolts, it's easier anyway, besides which the tissue's not that long. So first thing to do before you cover, or just let me explain to you how I hinge the ailerons. The wings are covered first in the doculum, including this area here. So when and the ailerons are done. So then I fix the ailerons using the crystal tape, which is incredibly sticky and doesn't degrade like sellotape. Hinge it, fold it back, hinge it there, fold it all the way down, hinge it there. So now I've got a hinged control surface. Then I tissue it inside here to cover up the hinge. Then I tissue the bottom of the aileron button it up to what I've already done, or overlapping it slightly, and cover the top. And then when that's done, I'll spray the whole lot with water, let it dry, and then dope it. Oh, one last tip I can give you. Keep a finger bowl handy. Your fingers get really sticky working with a glue stick. So a quick dip in the finger bowl, clean your hand off, and then dry it. One other thing, the glue stick dries on your scalpel and it causes it to snag. So again, give it a quick wash, nice and dry, and you'll find it doesn't snag anything. Okay, so I'm going to crack on now with finishing this wing. Right, that's the other half covered now, lightly stretched out just with water, nothing special. So top wing done. Next up is the fuselage, and I've done the back half, but I'm going to do the front half now. I was looking at this the other day and thinking, how am I going to get around all these struts? The front two, none of them are fixed, but when I come to put it back in, there's 4 points of contact each side, and they're sharp, and they're bound to damage the finish. So what I'm thinking was, I noticed these two will pull out quite easily. This one not quite so easily, it must be a slightly different angle, but I can work around that one. So if I just pull this one out and put something in there to hold it up. Actually, I won't be able to rest it. I was thinking I could rest it on there, but that's the bit I'm trying to cover. Okay, I found a little bit of wood to prop that up, just enough to get the tissue under. And what I plan to do is to put this in 2 stages, the front half, and then lift it up to do the back half. So let's get going. Just going to go around the edge. Important thing is to get that level at the back, so that's my join. So everything else can go forward from there. There we go. There are many colours you can do a Fokker DVII, but I rather like this colour scheme. I just love it actually, so I'm doing it this colour, and it's the colours of Lieutenant August Raven, which is German for Raven, and his Jasta 18 comrades. Okay guys, there we go. That's that one side done. Just needs to be doped, and that will tighten out and stick to the wood very nicely. It's looking good, looking sharp. Well, it will look sharper, but at the moment it doesn't look too bad. There we go. Yeah, quite pleased with it. So next stage is doping. Got a lot of doping to do. I still haven't made any machine guns up. I need a few minutes to make one up, or as somebody suggested on the video, I really need a 3D printer. The next thing is to decorate the fuselage. Now, I'm rather taken with the Jasta 18 colour schemes, and it's very simple really. Well, the colour scheme is, but on the side of the fuselage you've got this lovely raven with its little, baby ravens chasing after it in different areas of flight. The wing seems to get bigger and bigger on each one. So how do I do this? Well, they're water slide transfers, and there's a paper backing and then clear front that the laser's printed on. When I cut, I'll cut all around it. I'll just trim around all this, guys. I'll be back in a second and we'll get them soaking. Actually, it might be worth cutting. Yeah, I think I'll make 2 transfers out of it. Because I think I can line up those 3 to this one reasonably well. I found the Hangar 9 Fokker D7 this particular colour scheme, the one I wanted, and I couldn't find a nice sharp clear image online of these baby ravens. So I actually did a screen grab of the Hangar 9 Fokker D7 review that was on Adam's channel, Model Aviator. So this is actually the Hangar 9 transfers. Right, okay, so how do we put them on? I'll keep this for reference. I can see roughly where they go then. Just looking on the fuselage side, they will go, this one's about up here, and these are like that there, so they're sort of forming a little takeoff queue, but they queue takeoff queue goes something like that. I'll tell you what else I'll get ready. I'll get a tissue ready just to gently swab it over the top. Okay, let's pop that in. They always curl up. Just hold it a minute and it'll start to soak. Goes up there, so these go down there, like that. So I'm just going to hold it down, pull the backing away. In fact, they want to be running down the side of the fuselage a bit. Just give it a little pull. Be careful not to turn it over. Look at that, lovely. Oops. It's okay, let's get the other one in. This is fun, isn't it? Finishing touches. You can also, with a inkjet printer, print directly onto the tissue. So I could have printed this image straight onto a piece of white tissue and just tissued it on, which would have been probably preferable, but I've got a laser printer, so that's that. You can't print onto tissue with a laser printer. I'll let that dry, and then when it is dry I'll give it a coat of dope, and that should seal it in. How about that? Doesn't that look cool? Oh, it's so satisfying. That looked great. We're getting close, I think, to the end of this. I think it's part 3, isn't it? What I might do is just carry on here and start recording part 4, which will be assembly, finishing, connecting up the servos, all that sort of lovely stuff. So yeah, let's wrap it up here. I'll see you in part 4, if indeed that is the part. I'll link to it, pardon me, I'll link to it at the end of this video when it's done. In the meanwhile, you'll just see a placeholder. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'm really enjoying this in between the little chase cam and bumblebee bottle chase cam. That's ongoing, but while that's waiting for better weather, I'll carry on with the Fokker. Cheers guys, thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and really appreciate channel members as well, without whom all this probably wouldn't be possible. So I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, cheers, cheers.